Sleep
Sweet
Token
Token.
have put out their second album, This Place Will Become Your Tomb. Follow up, 2019 Sundowning, which got a
I need
lot
to hear
of
that
people
album.
intrigued in this band.
I need to listen to that album.
Okay.
I'm intrigued after hearing this album. I'm intrigued for
Jacob.
more.
First and foremost, do you like this more or less than Sundowning?
So, oh, this is gonna be funny. This album
Mhm.
is the Dispose of 2021, and I will say, Sundowning is a collection of singles, just like the Swan Song, just like Swan Song, and that's literally how they released it. And this album is the Dispose of 2021.
I guess that lines up with the fact that I'm not as high on Dispose and I'm not as high on this. I guess some things never change, huh?
This album is...
I will continue to
cohesive.
take unreasonable digs at Dispose just because it fits in with
You
what we're
dick.
talking about. I'm sorry.
Dude,
It's just not
Vessel
fair.
They
is
don't deserve
literally
it.
the British Landon Tours.
I can buy it, you know? Outside of the whole like hidden identity and the mask, I can buy it. I can see where you're coming from.
Derek?
I will not make a comment because I just don't even know where to begin with that. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm like sitting there processing the statement in my head, and it's like you took two of the same charge magnets and tried to put them together. It's just kind of like bouncing off of each other.
You have caused an error 404. It does not compute.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Jacob, would you like me to hurt you now or later?
You know what? I wanna hear what you have to say so I can counter it.
Okay. Perfect. I think that this is better than
wait,
Sundown.
I think you should preface with saying you only listened to this album like how many times?
Once all the way through, twice technically to revisit some songs.
That gives me enough information.
Okay.
We'll
That gives you enough information to
We'll see,
validate
because I know
anything
you've
Derek is
listened to
about
this like
say.
300 billion times. I think that this is better than Sundowning. I think that this blows Sundowning out of the water.
Okay.
I still do not like this album. And it's not because, well, no, I won't say that yet. I think that the singles, well, two of the singles in Alkaline and The Love
We
You
don't
Want.
talk about the third single.
Yeah,
okay?
fuck that song. Are two of some of the best songs I've heard all year. Alkaline still being my favorite song off this album, second only to the closer, Missing Limbs, which I think is a phenomenal song. I love Missing Limbs. The Love You Want coming in at number 3. I think that there are lots of moments on this album that are good. There's the breakdown towards the end of High Water, I believe it is, which I really enjoyed listening to. It made me very happy. Telomeres overall as a song, good. I think Atlantic works fantastically.
Another fantastic
as-
opening song.
Yes, exactly. How do I go about this? You know how, and I am so sorry in advance. You know how I got, we were talking about the Escape the Fate album earlier.
Oh wait, no.
Yep,
No,
I'm gonna
no,
say it.
no,
I'm really fucking sorry.
No.
Look,
Justin,
Escape.
please help me. Justin, please. I'm
Justin
literally
can't
on my
save you
hands
now.
and knees. I'm on my hands and knees right now.
Justin can't save you.
I will say after 2 full listens of the album, I could not get into it.
Yes. You're alone, Jacob.
Only because the vocal delivery is very similar in each song, and I
Oh,
feel like no
music
song
to
is
my
like
ears.
unique.
Music to my ears.
What?
Jacob, I
I
want you to
got-
remember that through fire all things are renewed. This is going
This
to
is
hurt,
my- this
but
is
you'll
my
end up on
fire.
the. This is your fire.
This is my
feels
fire.
like penance because when I listened to that Escape the Fate album, I got halfway through every single song and I was bored. The difference between that album and this album is that with Escape the Fate, I skipped the song because I knew that there was no potential for me to get anything more than what I was hearing. Sleep Token, I sat through and listened to every single song front to back because I truly believe that this band has an incredible creative talent and ability when they choose to use it. If you asked me to tell you one single thing about Hypnosis, Mine, Like That, Distraction, or Descending, I could not do it.
Okay,
Because
that's
I was-
doing some criminal speak to hypnosis and like that.
You know what? That's fine.
But the
Because
rest of that I'll
I-
agree with.
After Atlantic and until I got to the singles that released, I was so incredibly bored because I feel like the vocal delivery, as good as it is very samey throughout a lot of this. And any differences within the songs were not enough to make me want to revisit them. Like, I was not drawn back by any given moment that I felt was strong enough to justify me trying to force myself to like the song. I feel the same about Fall For Me. I feel the same about Distraction and Descending. I feel the same about everything except the breakdown in High Water and everything except the latter half of Telomeres. I think that in the same way that some people just can't get into Dance Gavin Dance because they don't have the Weedly gene,
Me.
where the way that the
Weedly Gene.
the way that the guitars sound and just that overall swancore sound is not for some people. They could try all they want to get into Dance Gavin Dance and they couldn't do it. Conversely, people who are really into Dance Gavin Dance, I mean, they've got one of the most lethal, dedicated fan bases of probably any band in the scene. In that same vein, I have seen nothing but praise for this album on Twitter. Kaylee Wolf, the vocalist for Rivals, tweeted out earlier that she had listened to this album nearly 100 times in full. You know, I've got so many people in so many different spheres of the Twitterverse and the scene side of things that are talking about how much they love this album and how into it they are, and Worship, We Love Sleep Token, you know, top 10 album of 2019, AOTY 2021. And I can see why, but I don't think that Sleep Token is ever going to be something that clicks with me, that makes me love it as I feel like people who are really into Sleep Token do.
You just don't have the worship gene.
I do not have the worship gene.
You have the Weedly gene. You just
But I did actually. I don't even know if I have the Weedly gene because outside of Idola, there's like 80 billion Swancore bands, and I just do not like a single one of them. But that's a discussion for another day. So I'm sorry. I feel bad comparing this band to Escape the Fate because they are objectively 1 billion times better than that band has ever been and will ever be. But I was bored by this album because it is not something that I am able to connect with. And I'm sorry.
I'm gonna follow up here, Jacob, real quick, if you don't mind. Can you last like another minute or two?
Dude,
Will you
I'm
be
like
okay?
dying over here. My brother's dog came into my room. He's here to comfort me.
Okay, that's good. I'm glad you have someone. So yeah, I'm basically similar to Derek, just a little bit higher on this album. I think Atlantic is a fantastic opener, but not something I'll really revisit on its own. Like, if I'm listening to this album, hell yeah, I'm listening to Atlantic all the way through. That song's great. Outside of that, and the singles, Hypnosis, Like That. I mean, really, it's just Hypnosis and Like That are the only two songs that have stuck with me. I have Telomeres and High Water in the playlist because they have their moments, but I really only listen to those when I'm done listening to Like That and I just let it play through. But I think, yeah, Mine, Distraction, and Descending, and even Missing Limbs, sorry, Derek, Those songs really don't do much for me. I feel like generally they all have a similar problem of they take too long to build, and the build doesn't climax in a powerful enough way for me.
That is exactly how I felt the first time I listened to this album.
And that is exactly how I
Everything-
felt the second time I listened to this
Every
album.
time it takes every song it felt like it takes too long to build up, and I can even see it in Alkaline.
Now, Alkaline is a masterpiece. That one is a perfect build. Favorite song on the album, by the way.
Before I go on with what I want to say, I have a question for you, Derek.
Yes.
Do you think Missing Limbs is better than Bloodsport?
Yes.
Really?
I like Missing Limbs better than any given song on Sundowning.
Wow. Okay,
Well,
I think
hold on.
Bloodsport's a better closer.
Okay, yeah. So that I realized it directly before you said it. I don't think it's as good of a closer, but I like it much more objectively as a song. Like, I've been really into this, like, what I can only describe as like Starbucks music or like bookstore cafe music recently, where it's like soft and like warm autumn vibes and like indie like one of my favorite albums this year was from a indie folk artist from fucking Iceland. And this Missing Limbs gives me that same sort of, it's kind of like a Hozier type vibe almost that I get from Missing Limbs, that for whatever reason something about it I really enjoy. And
I think it's
a
send
good
Missing
closer.
Limbs to my sister because she is a big fan of Hozier.
You should. You
Okay.
should. I
Okay.
think that Missing Limbs for me as an individual song clicks a lot more than Bloodsport and is a good song, but Bloodsport is a better closer.
Oh man, this is
Jacob, I think at this point the floor is yours.
The floor is yours, King. Go for it.
so. Oh man, this is gonna be hard. I don't have anybody to bounce off of.
You
I'll
can
do my
bounce off
best.
of me, I just want to agree with you.
I'll bounce off of you on like half of this album.
So I've listened to this album. What did it say? Like I had 250 scrabbles. So how many times is that?
How many
a
songs
lot
is
of
on
times.
here?
12?
12.
12.
That's
250,
at
12,
least
that's...
24.
Fuck, am I stupid? Why did I forget how to do math? That's 8, isn't it? Right?
No.
No.
more than
No,
that.
I'm... Holy
It's definitely more than 8.
shit, I'm so stupid. I was thinking about how many times... Wait. What the fuck math did I just do in my head?
Anyways, I've listened to this album a lot.
It's like
And-
21.
And I still do not know what it is about. I feel like every song has like a double meaning, and I think that is very intriguing to me. And the fact that they keep their this whole band is intriguing to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
they keep their identities what's the word, kept secret. And I'm just gonna read a line from Atlantic, and maybe you guys can see where I'm coming from with this double meaning thing. So flood me like Atlantic, bandage up the trenches, anything to get me to sleep. Now, is that actually sleeping, or is that the deity sleep that they praise? Do I know? I don't know.
I am not
Hmm.
invested enough in the lore of this band
Yeah.
to give you an answer.
I don't know what you smoked when you listened to this.
Jacob has ascended to a higher plane of mental being
No,
after listening to this
no.
album.
I am under the impression, in terms of meaning, based on what I heard. I'd have to pull specific lyrics, and to do that, I would have to listen to the album again. But I noticed it at the time, and also based on what I've seen people say on Twitter, that this album is about like emotional ruin in the vein of like a breakup or losing
Oh,
somebody
Yeah,
important to you.
my interpretation of this album is Vessel it's a breakup, but it's because of his devotion to sleep. That is my
Okay.
interpretation of this album. And I'm not sure, I feel like I'm totally off base, and I kind of like not knowing because it
Yeah.
makes me invested into it more.
No, I see what you're saying.
And I'm talking about the lyrics here right now, but just instrumentally, this is all thought out so well. Like the whole album has like this underwater vibe to it, and I don't even words cannot describe how how much I love this album. It's,
You are captivated by this album. Every sense of the way.
yeah. You could say I'm hypnotized.
Yup.
Yeah, probably. This album is the love you want.
Yes. And even songs like Fall for. Can you hear that dog, by the way?
I heard it like 10 seconds ago, and I was like, what the fuck?
I thought I heard like a door.
Anyways,
Same thing.
even like Fall for Me, after delving into the lyrics, can you shut up, dog? I'm trying to talk about my favorite album of the month. And
I like how even the dog doesn't want you to talk about it.
shut up.
Would you say the dog is a distraction?
So yeah,
Jake.
Speaking of, that's my least favorite song.
Not Fall
So-
for Me. That's kind of criminal.
Shut up.
I think it just has the least uniqueness. So I was saying about Fall for Me. I think it is like I do not like the vocal effect on his voice. We didn't get to talk about this as a single because it was released in September. It is lyrically beautiful. And like I said, everything about this band is so intriguing to me, and I just want to know what this is about. And I think
But you also don't.
that's that's the thing. It's designed. I think they designed it that way. They designed the album that way so that you're immersed in it, basically. And so you get like the diehard fans, like Derek was talking about, and I guess I'm one of them. Now let's talk about like
Chemistry.
that. No, that's a good one though. Like That is my favorite song, and
My second favorite.
It is all because of I don't want to call it a breakdown. It's kind of a breakdown. I'll call it the climax of the song. Where he's like all your pain, and then his voice just goes off. That is my favorite moment on the entire album, and it is not even close. I think Vessel is, I want to say, one of my favorite vocalists now. And like I said, he's the British Landon Tours.
I
Yeah.
would say that title goes to Sam Carter, but
No, I don't think so.
I think so. Well, okay. I retract it. I retract it. I said I retract it. Stop.
Okay. Okay.
I realized
Understood.
the oh fuck, not the consequences of my actions. The weight of what I had just said. I was also just plain wrong. I was approaching it in the wrong manner. That's my bad.
Moving on.
No, we're not moving on.
Okay.
So, this album is not as heavy as Sundowning.
No.
And I think at first I was disappointed. I think, Jake, you could probably tell that when we first listened to it together. I was kind of disappointed when I first heard this. And I think, I'm going to say it again, it's because I didn't understand, and I still don't understand the whole album. And this is, all I can say is it's my favorite album of the month, and it's just literally just because they're so intriguing. Everything about this band is so beautiful. And I would like to highlight like moments in almost every song, but I feel like that would be getting way too into it. And we'll talk about this.
I mean,
album.
look, we've already mentioned
Yeah,
Atlantic
yeah.
is a sick opener. I'll go and add Hypnosis has some sick instrumentation. We already mentioned
Yes,
Like That.
heavy song.
We've already talked about The Love You Want. We've already talked about Alkaline. everything beyond that is forgettable. So I think we've covered all bases here.
No, okay. So then I'll talk about Descending and Telomeres, since Derek talked about High Water. Descending, you actually feel like you're descending when you go in when the song starts. That is, I think, a very good creative choice. I don't know. And then the guitar solo in Telomeres is also one of my favorite moments on the album. A softer song on the album. Yeah. This place will become your tomb. I will talk about this album again. And
Come
I
back
will
in
surprised if we
hopefully
didn't.
maybe
come back
maybe
in 2
I'll-
months' time for more concise thoughts.
Maybe I will have figured out what it's about. I think
Who
my interpretation,
knows?
and that's the thing, maybe my interpretation is different from somebody else's, and that's the thing about music. You can interpret it however you want, and it's so cool.
Do you have any last things you want to say, Jacob, before we move
I
on?
think you guys need to listen to this album at least 10 times.
I
Give
got
me
a lot
2
of time
years.
in October, so I might.
Also, I am very sweaty now after talking about that.
We riled
It's
you up
passionate,
real
it's
bad,
passionate.
apparently.
I am passionate about this album. This band is very intriguing, and I want to see them live so bad.
That's fair. I think they would be really cool to see live.
Yeah.
Like, as much as I'm not as
Wait,
high on this
wait.
album, like in the studio version, I think they would put on a sick performance live.
Derek, have you seen them live? Did you go to
No, I
the
haven't.
Full Oblivion? Oh,
Nope, I didn't. I missed that tour. I missed 2 Issues tours due to outside circumstances, and then I missed seeing them because COVID shut down that Dance Gavin Dance tour. And then Tyler Carter did the thing, and I will probably never get to see him live. So, I'm 0 for 3 on Issues, and
Damn.
subsequently 0 for 1 on Sleep Token, and just not happy about it. Because what I missed I Prevail in Issues in 2018, I think it was, and then I missed their Beautiful Oblivion tour in 2019. I missed them 2020. Man,
Pain.
nothing but pain.
All right, I think we spent a while on that.